राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा। प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा। जय श्रीमद् भागवतम महामूल पुराण की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhati Nashtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, chapter title King Chitraketu Meets the Lord. Text number 39. Kamadiyastvai rachita na param rohanti yatha karma bijani jnanatmani agunamaye guna gunato asya dvanda jalani kamadiyastvai rachita na param rohanti yatha karma bhibijani jnanatmani agunamaye guna gunato asya dvanda jalani कामादियस्त्वयि रचिता न परमरोहन्ति यथा कर्मभिबीजानि ज्ञानात्मनि अगुणमये गुणगुणातो अस्य द्वन्द्वजालानि कामादियस्त्वयि रचिता न परमरोहन्ति यथा कर्मभिबीजानि ज्ञानात्मनि अगुणमये गुणगुणातो अस्य द्वन्द्वजालानि कामादियस्त्वयि रचिता न परमरोहन्ति यथा कर्मभिबीजानि ज्ञानात्मनि गुणमये गुणगुणातो अस्य द्वन्द्वजालानि. माताजी. कामादियस्त्वयि रचिता word-to-word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kamadhiya, desires for sense gratification. Tvai, in you. Rachita, performed. Na, not. Parama, O Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rohanti, do grow. Produce other bodies. Yatha, just as. Karma bijani, sterilized or fried seeds. Jnana atmani, in you whose existence is in full knowledge. Agunamaye, who is not affected by the material qualities. Guna gunataha, from the material qualities. Asya, of a person. Dvandva jalani, the networks of duality. Translation. O Supreme Lord, if person obsessed with material desire for sense gratification through material opulence worship you, who are the source of all knowledge and are transcendental to material qualities, they are not subjected to material rebirth, just as sterilized or fried seeds do not produce plants. Living entities are subjected to the repetition of birth and death because they are conditioned by material nature. But since you are transcendental, one who is inclined but to associate with you in transcends escapes the conditions of material nature. Purport. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, where in the Lord says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvata yaham punarjanma neti mameti swarjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not upon leaving the body take his birth again in this material world, but attain my eternal abode, O Arjuna. If one simply engages in Krishna consciousness to understand Krishna, he surely becomes immune to the process of repetition, birth and death. As clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita, Tyaktva deham punar janma neti. Such a person, simply by engaging in Krishna consciousness or understanding the Supreme Person of Godhead, Krishna, becomes quite fit to return home back to Godhead. Even though who are obsessed with material desires, many may also come to worship the Supreme Person of Godhead so steadily that they go back to Godhead. The fact is that if one comes to Krishna consciousness, although he may have many material desires, he becomes increasingly attracted to the lotus feet of Krishna through associating with the Supreme Lord by chanting his holy name. The Supreme Lord and his holy name are identical. Thus he becomes uninterested in attachment to material enjoyment. The perfection of life is to be uninterested in material enjoyment and interested in Krishna. If one comes to Krishna consciousness somehow or other, even for material gain, the result is that he will be liberated. Kama dveshat bhayat snehat. Whether for the satisfaction of material desires, because of the influence of envy, because of fear, because of affection, or because of any other reason. If one comes to Krishna, his life is successful. Om ajnanatimrandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai shri gurave namah. Shri Chaitanya manobhishtam stapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kadamayam dadati swam padandikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Itam Tam Sajivan Sadhvetam Savadutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namle Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharane Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Desha Tarane Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurti Vashenam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpataru Bhayascha Sindhu Bhaya Evacha Patitanam Pavane Bhyo Vaishnave Bhyo Namo Nama. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. First of all, I'm seeking the blessings of all of the devotees, especially senior devotees. So please bless me so that I can serve nicely. So. So these are the Chitraketu Maharaj nice prayers are going on, where after he got the darshan of the Shankarshan, so then from text number 34 onwards, so he is reciting so many beautiful prayers. So yesterday prayer which Radhakant Prabhu took, and today prayers is like continuation. Today prayers, as we just go through the yesterday's first. Yesterday it was mentioned that a person having material desires, approach to the approach to demigods for their fulfilling their material desire. Such person is condemned by the Chitraketu Maharaj and Sukhdev Goswami and Srila Prabhupada in purports by telling that he's like an animal in the human form of life. So having material desires, approaching demigods, so therefore he's like an animal in the human form of life. Then at the later it was mentioned that when the destruction of the entire universe will be there, so that time what happened? All the demigods also get destroyed, and the benediction they gave that also going to destroy. So therefore Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport. Then what is the use of approaching such demigods, where their benediction is like destroyed at the certain amount of time? So therefore, best thing is that you should approach the Supreme Lord. Even though you may be having material desires, but approach to Supreme Lord is very beneficial. And then Prabhupada quoted this verse, Akama sarva kamva mokshagama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogane yajate purusham param. So even though a person having so many other desires also, so therefore best is to worship the Supreme Lord. Now today verse explaining that a person having this material desires, engage in sense gratification activities, but is approaching to the Supreme Lord. So what will happen to them? So for them it is mentioned that because they somehow or other they come in touch with the Lord by any other process, so then they will get purified very soon, and therefore they will not able to go through the process of repetition, birth and death. So so this is mentioning in the today verse. And in Prabhupada in purport is very nicely explaining. Prabhupada whole purport is focusing on for 1-2 line he is writing just a person who is a devotee of the Lord. For him just he sincerely practice Krishna consciousness, and then all the material desire will be go away very soon, and then he will go back to Godhead. But for a person having material desires, for them Prabhupada is mentioning here that so for them Prabhupada is explaining this. The fact is that if one comes to Krishna consciousness, although he may be material desire, he become increasingly attracted to the lotus feet of Krishna. And then Prabhupada later write in the whether for the satisfaction of material desire, because of influence of any envy, because of fear, because of affection, or because of any other reason, if one comes to Krishna, his life is successful. And then he quoting the one line from the verse 7th canto, Kama dveshat bhayat snehat. So we see that how material desires, of course, for devotees, Prabhupada is mentioning that they just sincerely practice Krishna consciousness. But person who having material desire, if he approach, then he will also very soon get perfected. So Sukhdev Goswami, Chitraketu Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada in purport is actually highlighting the qualities of compassionate nature of the Supreme Lord. Like as we see today verse is completely explaining that how Lord is so much compassion to the all living entities, no matter whatever living entity is there, whatever kind of living entity is there, so that he just Lord is waiting for them, and just he come in touch with the Supreme Lord. So they are just highlighting how the compassionate nature of the Supreme Lord. What actually compassion means? Compassion means is like a person does not see any qualification, whether one is qualified or not qualified. He does not see any qualification, whether one is qualified or not qualified. If he come in touch with the Lord, then he will get mercy of the Lord. This is the definition of compassion mentioned here. So therefore, as we see, various examples are also there. First, when we see that how when Lord Krishna and Balram entering to the Mathura city, so they were visiting, they were just going to the city to go through that. They were just going to the Mathura cities and visiting many places. So, so while visiting, they came in touch with the 3 or 4 kind of people. One is that Kubja. So when Kubja was come in contact with the Lord, she also got purified. And then a person, a flower garland. So he also got the mercy of the Lord when he came in touch with the Lord. Then we see that washerman is another type of mercy he got. Clothes stitcher. So he also got the mercy of the Lord. And then washerman, because he was just not properly dealing with the Lord. So they also got mercy in a different way. So these are the examples where just Lord ready to give mercy to any kind of people. As we see in the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, when he was going to the South India Yatra. So to whomever he was just meeting and telling them just chant Hare Krishna, and everyone was getting mercy. Mercy means they were just getting purified by just chanting holy name and came in touch with the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what to speak of human being? Even when he was going to the Vrindavan forest, Jai Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki Jai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki Jai, Gaunita Ishla Prabhupada ki Jai. So when he was going to the Vrindavan, so while going to Vrindavan, he just came to the Jharkhand forest. There also, he gave mercy to all the animals, those who are present, lion, elephant. So these are the compassion nature, that Lord is just ready to give to anyone the mercy. So therefore, we have to just come in touch with the Lord, either by the process which we are practicing, or pure devotees are also like the Supreme Lord only. They are also just ready to give mercy. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was visiting all the places and in South India. So various peoples we are just meeting, and they were also perfected there. So in Jharkhand we see the animals. So so similarly, another example is the Ramanacharya. He just climbed on the top and he announced that whoever want to perfect their life, please come here. All the villages came. All the villages people, they came. So you are not saying that this person is qualified, so I will give mercy to him only. This person is not qualified, I will not give mercy. No, just he called everyone. And everyone came and he told that please chant the mantra and then perfect their lives. So they also chanted and then they perfected their life. Another example, Srila Prabhupada, he went to a place, Bauri, where so much hippies were staying there. They were rejected completely from the government, everyone. So, but Prabhupada gave them shelter. And they were just came in touch with the Prabhupada and they also become a pure devotee. So these are the examples, and many more examples are there, but I'm just highlighting the compassionate nature of the Lord. So Lord is so merciful that he just wanted to give mercy to any kind of people. So as just yesterday I was preparing for this class, so I was hearing Guru Maharaj class. So there Guru Maharaj was also mentioning in one of the class related to Chitraketu Maharaj subject only. So he was telling that Guru Maharaj that just takes mind. So in between the class, Guru Maharaj raised the question to ask all the audience they were sitting. He asked that, what makes the great soul a great soul? He asked this question. So these great souls are there, but what makes them to the great souls? So the Maharaj replied that, of course, other devotee, Maharaj replied then, when the great souls is ready to accept or mold his life according to the plan of the Supreme Lord. So therefore, that makes him a great soul. So you are sharing related to Chitraketu Maharaj, how Chitraketu Maharaj in his life he already went so much throughout his own life. First, he was hankering for the child, and then when he got somehow or other, after so much hankering, then the child died, means killed by the co-wives, and he was lamenting. That time Angira Muni told to Chitraketu Maharaj, actually I used to come every day in your place. I could have given the blessing of that you perfect your life at that time only. But I saw that you are just hankering for the child. So then I gave you a Harsha Shoka, which is the cause of your jubilation and lamentation. So therefore, Guru Maharaj was raising this question, that what makes these great souls a great souls? So when they are ready to accept the plan of the Lord in their life. So therefore, Chitraketu Maharaj, after the Narad Muni instruction, and then after the instruction of his son who died, then he got enlightened. And then he practiced, then Narad Muni told him, within a week, I will give mantra to you will get perfected in your life. And then he practiced so sincerely, then within a week, then he get perfect. But the story not end here, which is going to come in future chapters, how he got curse from Parvati, Mother Parvati. So then he got curse from Mother Parvati, although it is mentioned that Chitraketu Maharaj was having the same power that he can also curse back to the Mother Parvati. But he accepted the plan of the Lord. Oh, this is the way my Lord wanted me to be, so then I will accept in my life. Actually, what we say that in this section it comes that how Chitraketu Maharaj just about to go to the perfect his life, means already perfected by getting the darshan of Lord Shankarshan, but about to go back to Godhead. Then suddenly he got the curse. How? So then he accepted happily. And then Guru Maharaj gave various examples. He gave the example of Gajendra also. He told that Gajendra was in previous life King Indradumna. So King Indradumna just renounced his family life, went to the forest, and he was just meditating. And the Agastya Muni came, who was quite known to eat prasad. So then, when he saw that there are no response from the Indradumna Maharaj, then he gave curse. So Guru Maharaj was saying that what is the fault? What is the fault of Indradumna Maharaj? He was just doing meditation. Parishit Maharaj did some mistake, very little mistake he did. He put the dead snakes on the neck of Shami Krishi. But Indradumna Maharaj not did anything, but still he got the curse. And then later, when he got up from his meditation, then he understood that. But he happily accepted that this is the way my Lord wanted. So then he accepted. So similarly, Parishit Maharaj also accepted. And one more example. One example. How Vidura when Duryodhana just criticizing him, blaspheming him, spoke so many bad words. But Vidura understood that this is the way my Lord wanted. So he was seeing both energies of the Lord that time. Internal energy working through him and external energy working through Duryodhana. So in all the cases, when we saw that they accepted the plan of the Lord, then what happened? Their absorption for the Lord was increased more. As we see in the example of first Chitraketu Maharaj, he became a Vritarasura in the next life. So after becoming a Vritarasura, how he was so much absorbed. All the external bodies look like a demon, but inside he is like a very great devotee of the Lord. So he was so much absorbed, and his focus was on just wanted to go back to Godhead. And therefore he was telling to the Indra so many things. And so at the end, it took for Indra to cut his limbs of the body for 1 year. So it's such a absorption. Similarly, Gajendra, although whole life he lived like a dumb animal only, engaged in full sense gratification, but at the time of need, when the requirement was there for him, he remembered the previous prayers which he was reciting for the Lord. So therefore, at that time of prayers, he becomes completely absorbed. And similarly, Vidura also, when he went there, then he took shelter of the devotees of the Lord. And Parishit Maharaj, we know that. How Parishit Maharaj left everything and went to the bank of the Ganges and association of the Lord and just ready to perfect his life. So in all the example, it is mentioned that when they are ready to accept the plan of the Lord, the remembrance of the Lord, their absorption of the Lord also very much increase. So therefore, these great souls are ready to bend their life, mold their life, or ready to accept the plans of the Lord. So, coming to the verse, I just quoted. So Prabhupada write this sentence, this one line: Kama dveshat bhayat snehat. In whatever way people just come in touch with the Lord, they will be purified. So this is coming from the 7th canto actually. This is coming from the 7th canto, beginning of the 1st chapter, where the Parishit Maharaj is asking question to the Sukdev Goswami, that how it is that although Shishupal is such an envious person, you are such an envious person, and from the beginning only, from the beginning of his birth, he was just, it looked like that his existence is for this purpose to criticize the Supreme Lord. Till the end of his death he was criticizing. So then how it is that when Lord killed him, his soul is entered into the Krishna's body, Lord's body. So then this Sukdev Goswami very much pleased by his inquiry, and then he recited the pastime which is happened by where Yudhishthira Maharaj asking the same type of question to the Narad Muni. So Yudhishthira Maharaj also asking, so how it is that Shishupal's soul entered into the body of Krishna? Although he was just criticizing Supreme Lord from the birth only, why he not got the leprosy on his tongue? Why not went to the hellish condition, hellish planet? So still he is very young, his body is very young, and he's just going on criticizing. Then Narad Muni explained that actually this Shishupal and the Dantavakra, his brother, both are like the Jay and Vijay from the spiritual world, and got curse from the 4 Kumaras. So then these verses comes where the Narad Muni tell to the Parishit Maharaj, Narad Muni tell to Yudhishthira Maharaj that somehow the one come in touch with the Lord, he will become purified. So I just recite this. Kama dveshat bhayat snehat yatha bhakteshware mana avesha tad agam hitva bhavas tad katim gataha. Many persons have attained liberation simply by thinking of Krishna with great attention and giving up sinful activities. This great attention may be due to their lusty desires or inimical feelings, fear, affection, or devotional service. So this, so he is reciting this verse and telling that, so in whichever state one can approach to the Lord, then he will be purified. Now he told that now I shall explain how one receives Krishna's mercy simply by concentrating one's mind upon him. So although this lusty desire, inimical feeling, fear, affection, or devotion service, so people, they were just fully absorbed in Krishna in their thoughts. So he giving the example next verse. Gopya kamat bhayat kamso dvesha chajadayo nirpa sambandha vrishnaya snehat yujam bhaktya vayam vibho. My dear King Yudhishthir, gopis by their lusty desire, Kamsa by fear, Shishupal and other kings by envy, Yadus by their family relation with Krishna, the general devotees by our devotional service obtained the mercy of Krishna. So all type of people here mentioned. Gopis by their desire, lusty desire, Kamsa by fear, Shishupal and other kings, envy, Yadus by their family relationship, and the general devotees who are practicing, they obtain. By their devotion service, they get the mercy. So these are the example, like gopis were fully absorbed in Krishna. And similarly, Kamsa, as we know how the example Kamsa, wherever he was going, he was just seeing Krishna only. So he also fully absorbed. Shishupal, From the birth only you are just reciting these words of Krishna, Krishna so many times. And Yadu, by their family relationship. So here it is mentioned that gopis, their lusty desire which based on intense love for Krishna. Their lusty desire will not be the lusty like the material lusty desire. Because of their intense love for Krishna, they are based on this lusty desire. It appears that gopis' desire appear lusty, but actually they were not the lusty desire. They were not the lusty desire of material world. In Chaitanya Charitamrita it is explained that compare the desire of spiritual world and material world are like gold and iron. Both are metal, but there is a vast difference in their value. So we see that how this Narad Muni is giving various examples of and by quoting this verse, by any kind of way, by any way we can approach the Lord, one will surely get the mercy. So therefore the Prabhupada at the end is quoting. Okay. So I just end. Today is a disappearance day of two great Vaishnavas, Sri Mahesh Pandit and Sri Udarna Datta Thakur. So I just explained from whatever I have read from the Chaitanya Charitamrita about them. It is mentioned that both were the associates of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and both were present at the time of Cheda Day festival. So I just recited the verse explained to you. It is explained in the Antalila, chapter 6, text. A series of verses are there. So it is mentioned that Dute pari Prabhu jadi pindate vasila sala kundi vipratare agata dharila. After Nityananda Prabhu had changed his cloth for a new one and sat on a raised platform, the Brahmana brought before him the 7 huge pots. So the discussion, just Cheda festival is going on. चबूतर ऊपर यहाँ प्रभुर निज गणे बड़ा बड़ा लोए वसीला मंडली रचने. On that platform, all the most important associates of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, as well as other important men, sat down in a circle around the Lord. And the various names are given of the Lord associates, Nityananda Prabhu associates. Rama Dasa Sundarananda Dasa Gadadhar Murali Kamalakar Sadashiva Purandar. Among them were Ramadas, Sundaranand, Gadadhar Das, Murari, Kamalakar, Sadashiv and Purandar. Now it comes. Dhananjay Jagadish Parameshwara Das, Mahesha Gori Das, HareKrishna Das. Dhananjay Jagadish Parameshwar Das, Mahesh Pandit, Gori Das and HareKrishna Das were also there. Udarana Datta Adi Yatha Nija Gana Upara Vasila Sab Ke Kare Ganana. Similarly, Udarana Datta Thakur and many other persons, associate of Lord, sat on the raised platform with Nityananda Prabhu. No one could count them all. Just read purport mentioned there. The devotees mentioned here are described by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his Anubhasha. For further information, one may consult the following references. So the references are mentioned. For the Mahesh Pandit, the references mentioned that Adi Lila 11.32. For the Udarna Datta Thakur, Adi Lila 11.41. So these both are the, and many more, these are all the associates of the Lord, Nityananda Prabhu, and they were also present there when the Lord was performing Chidadi festival. Now we read some more point is there. So it comes in Adi Lila 10 point chapter, the branches of the Chaitanya tree. So where it is mentioned that about the Mahesh Pandit. Subudhi Mishra Hirdayananda Kamala Nayana Mahesh Pandit Shrikara Shri Madhusudana. Translation. The 62nd branch of the tree was Subudhi Mishra. The 63rd was Hridayananda. The 64th was Kamal Nayan. The 65th was Mahesh Pandit. The 66th was Shrikar. And the 67th was Shri Madhusudana. So purport, small purport is mentioned. Srila Bhakti-Siddhanta Thakur writes in his Anubhasha, Subudhi Mishra was formerly Gudachida in Vrindavan, installed Gaur Nityananda deities in a temple in a village known as Belgaon, which is about 3 miles away from Srikhand. His present descendant is known as Govinda Chandra Goswami. So reference is mentioned there. So 11.26 for Mahesh Pandit. This is a verse from about the Gauridas Pandit, but about Mahesh Pandit is also mentioned in the purport, so I just recite first verse. Gauridas Pandit yara premo danda bhakti Krishna prema dite nite dhara mahashakti. So Gauridas Pandit, the emblem of the most elevated devotional service in love of Godhead, had the greatest potency to receive and deliver such love. So the this Mahesh Pandit is coming the descendant of, some of the name of the descendants of Gauridas Pandit are as follows. So there are list of the names are mentioned, and in that at the end, Prabhu is mentioning that the eldest son of Gauridas Pandit was known as Big Balram, and the youngest was known as Raghunath. The son of Raghunath were Mahesh Pandit and Govinda. So Gauridas Pandit, okay. So this is mentioned that the son of Gauridas Pandit is the Raghunath, and 2 sons are there, Big Balram. So the Mahesh Pandit is the son of Raghunath. So he is coming the descendant of the Gauridas Pandit. Mahesha Pandit, I will just recite first. Mahesha Pandit Vrajera Udara Gopala Dakhava de Nritya Kare Prema Matolya. Mahesh Pandit, the 7th of the 12 Gopalas, was very liberal. In great love of Krishna, he danced to the beating of a kettle drum like a madman. Srila Bhakti-Siddhanta Thakur writes in his Anubhasha, the village of Mahesh Pandit, which is known as Palpada, is situated in the district of Nadia within a forest about 1 mile south of Chakada railway station. The Ganges flows nearby. It is said that formerly Mahesh Pandit lived on the eastern side of Jirat in the village known as Masipura or Yashipura. And when Masipura merged into the river bed of the Ganges, the deities there were brought to Palpada, which is situated in the midst of various villages such as Beladanga, Beri Gram, Sukha Sagar, Chandude, and Manaso Pota. There are about 14 villages, and the entire neighborhood is known as Panchagara Paragana. It is mentioned that Mahesh Pandit joined the festival performed by Sri Nityanand Prabhu at Panyati. So Narottam Das Thakur also joined in the festival, and Mahesh Pandit saw him on that occasion. So in the temple of Mahesh Pandit, there are deities of Gaur Nityananda, Sri Gopinath, Sri Madan Mohan, and Radha Govind, as well as Shaligram Shila. So this verse explained about the Mahesh Pandit, how he is a seventh of the 12 Gopas. So, and more references are mentioned in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, but if someone want to read, then he can read. So now we'll discuss about Sri Udaran Datta Thakur. So it comes in Adilila, the expansion of Lord Nityananda. Mahabhagavata Shrestha Datta Udarana Sarva Bhave Seve Nityanandera Charana. Udarana Datta Thakur, the 11th among the 12 cowherd boys, was an exalted devotee of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. He worshipped the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda in all respect. So, purport is very 2 pages purport, but it is most important because he is explaining about his activities and about his life. So I just read there. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur writes in Anubhasya, the Gaur Gaudiya Desh Deepika 129, state that Udarana Datta Thakur was formerly the cowherd boy of Vrindavan, named Subahu. Udarana Datta Thakur, previously known as Sri Udarana Datta, Udarana Datta Thakur, previously known as Sri Udarana Datta, was a resident of Saptagram, which is situated on the bank of the Saraswati river near the Trisha Bigha railway station in the district of Hugli. At the time of Udarana Thakur, Saptagram was a very big town, encompassing many other places such as Vasudevapura, Bansha Bedia, Krishnapura, Nityanandapura, Shivapura, Shankhagar, and Saptagram. Calcutta was developed under British rule by the influential mercantile community and especially by the Swarnavanik community, who came down from Saptagram to establish their business and homes all over Calcutta. They were known as the Saptagrami mercantile community of Calcutta, and most of them belonged to the Mulik and Sil families. More than half of Calcutta belonged to this community, as did Shri Udarana Thakur. Our paternal family also came from this district and belonged to the same community. Prabhupada is writing this. Our paternal family also came from this district and belonged to the same community. The Muliks of Calcutta are divided into 2 families, namely the Sil family and the Day family. All of the Muliks of the Day family originally belonged to the same family and Gotra. We also formerly belong to the branch of Day family, whose members, intimately connected with the Muslim rulers, received the title Mulik. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Anta Khanda, chapter 5, it is said that Udarana Datta was an extremely elevated and liberal Vaishnava. He was born with the right to worship Nityanand Prabhu. It is also stated that Nityanand Prabhu, after staying for some time in Khadda, came to Saptagram and stayed in the house of Udarana Datta. The Swarnavanik community to which Udarana Datta belonged was actually a Vaishnava community. Its members were bankers and gold merchants. Stivarth means gold and Vanik means merchant. Long ago, there was a misunderstanding between Balal Sena and Swarnavani community because of the great banker Gauri Sen. Balal Sena was taking loans from the Gauri Sen and spending more money extravagantly, and therefore Gauri Sen stopped supplying money. Balal Sena took revenge by instigating a social conspiracy to make the Swarnavanik outcast, and since then they have been ostracized from the higher caste, namely the Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya. But by the grace of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, the Swarnavanik community was again elevated. It is said that in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Yateka Vanik Kula Udarana Haite Pavitra Haila Dvida Nahaike E Hate. There is no doubt that all the community members of the Swarnavanik society were again purified by Sri Nityananda Prabhu. In Saptagram, there is still a temple with a six-armed deity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that was personally worshipped by Srila Udarana Datta Thakur. On the right side of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a deity of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and on the left side is Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu. There are also a Radha Govind Murti and Shaligram Shila. And below the throne is a picture of Sri Udarana Datta Thakur. In front of the temple there is now a big hall, and in front of the hall is a Madhavi Lata plant. The temple is in a very shady, cool and nicely situated location. When we returned from America in 1967, the executive committee member of this temple invited us to visit it. And thus we had the opportunity to visit this temple with some American students. Formerly in our childhood we visited this temple with our parents because all the members of Swarnavanik community enthusiastically take interest in this temple of Udarana Datta Thakur. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur adds in his Anubhashya in the Bengali year AD 1876, a Babaji of the name Nitai Das arranged for a donation of 12 bighas of land, about 4 acres, for the temple where Udarana Datta Thakur worshipped. The management of the temple later deteriorated, but then in AD 1899, through the cooperation of famous Balram Mulik of Hooghly, who was a subject and many rich Swarnavanik community members, the management of temple improved greatly. Not more than 50 years ago, one of the family members of Udarana Datta Thakur named Manmohan Datta established a wooden murti statue of Udarana Datta Thakur in the temple. But that murti is no longer there. At present, a picture of Udarana Datta Thakur is worshipped. It is understood, however, that the wooden murti of Udarana Thakur was taken away by Sri Madan Mohan Datta and is now being worshipped with a Shaligram Shila by Srinath Datta. Udarana Datta Thakur was the manager of the estate of a big Jamindar in Naihati, about 1.5 miles north of Katwa. The relics of this royal family are still visible near the Denhat station. Since Udarana Datta Thakur was the manager of the estate, it was also known as Udaranapur. Udarana Datta Thakur installed Nitai Gaur deities that were later brought to the house of Jamindar, which was known as Vano Yaribad. Srila Udarana Datta Thakur remained a householder throughout his life. His father's name was Shrikar Datta, his mother's name was Bhadravati, and his son's name was Srinivas Datta. So these are the descriptions mentioned here about Mahesh Datta, Udarana Datta, and many more are there in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Chapter name is also mentioned. And so these great souls, they are both were the associates of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and they are the Gopals also. So just with the, I just stop here only. If someone has any question, then they can.
Hare Krishna, Manmohan Prabhu, thank you very much for explaining about compassion of the Lord. Actually, when I read this verse and purport, I was little confused actually about what is being spoken here, because those who are absorbed in material desires, if they approach, the seeds will be burnt and everything. And at the same time, when I reflect back in the 6th canto, if I see Lord Indra, with all due respects to him, there we see that they know everything and they have an idea of Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam, everything they know actually of the Supreme Lord. But it is quite difficult for them to give up what they want to give up, right? So that prayers also we saw. So is this Siddhant being spoken here, that those who are obsessed with material desires, but it appears that life after life they want to be here only. But here it is told that they will go back to Godhead. So how do we understand that?
So, Hare Krishna. So here in translation and purport, actually the part of the compassion as what I am speaking about the Lord is just Srila Prabhupada is explaining the purport. So first I will first tell that. So in that we are mentioned that what kind of people Lord is going to deliver. He can deliver any kind of people. A person who is having very small material desires, or a person who is like any kind of material desires is having. For them it is not something difficult that when one is approaching Lord with Prabhupada right in purport, with and is practicing sincerely. With steady practice, then when he approaches Lord with steady practice, then his heart will get purified. So therefore, and in Prabhupada giving various examples by quoting this from 7th chapter, what kind of people they got, just they came in touch with the Lord, they get perfected their life. So it's not that, I think that like Lord can deliver to any kind of person, because his purpose is like that only. The purpose of creation, the purpose of anything, they just become purified and perfect their life.
Lord's nature, it's very clear that he is wanting to deliver, but here what I am trying to understand is, even yesterday I wanted to ask Prabhuji also, and he was saying that akama sarva kama moksha kama udardi. Tivrena bhakti yogena is there. We can go in front of Lord and express our desires honestly. Actually, honesty is so important. Very beautifully told that we may not be at that level. So, but how do we deal with this? Because we see Indra and others, they have material desires, they have all knowledge, but how it is going to get, like here what it is saying? That's what I am not able to understand, that if one is obsessed with material desires, then how is going to get purified? Because there are so many other examples. What is this Tivra Bhakti which is being spoken in Akama?
So this, what I actually understood from this purport and the translation, that when Prabhupada is mentioning that by steady devotion service, means he is coming in touch with the great soul. So when one is coming in touch with the great souls, and by sincerely practicing, then actually many verses I also mentioned that the 2nd canto, that by steadily practicing Krishna consciousness, one can perfect his life. So when one come in touch with the great souls, like I gave the example of this hippies. There's a practical example we can understand from the Prabhupada life, that before they were completely rejected actually. They were engaged in all kind of sinful activities, breaking all the regulative principles. They are not knowing also this has to be followed. But when you come in touch with the Lord, with great soul Prabhupada, and they develop the desire to serve Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada, mercy, great soul's mercy is like that, they can just, they will get mercy and they perfect their life. So by the great souls in their life, and they following them, then they will come to this level. Prabhuji, can you share? Sundar Shyam. No.
Just Prabhuji, one small example what Prabhuji is asking about how devotional service can purify. So in 6th canto itself, in the 18th chapter, the story of Diti, that she wanted to kill Indra, but then when Kashyap Muni told about the process of devotional service, that purified her heart. She was purified, also Indra was purified. Indra killed that embryo, cut into 49 parts.
14.
But then, so later at the end of this chapter, very nicely it is said that how both of them got purified. The process of bhakti is so pure that even though we may have so much impurities, but definitely will get purified. Thank you. It's welcome.
Nice. You want to explain?
Hare Krishna. Bhakti is independent. Bhakti Devi is not dependent on any material process, any previous qualification, nothing of that sort. Bhakti is independent. Madhyamadhikari, whosoever he decides to give, Bhakti Devi just follows, as you already stated that. So anyhow somebody comes in touch with the Lord, he intensely worships. The qualifier there is Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. Tivra Bhakti we do. Not just sadhaka also, if he doesn't do Tivra Bhakti, he offends Vaishnavas. He will take many lifetimes, millions of lifetimes also. But Tivra Bhakti one does, by whatever reason, like Gajendra, he was in that troublesome situation. Then he intensely prayed to the Lord without any offensive mentality. Similarly, whether hippies you stated, or for that matter anyone, if they perform Tivra Bhakti, our Bilomangal Thakur, he was so obsessed with Chintamani. His Chinta was about her only, Chintamani. But the one who is very passionate, like Dhruva Maharaj also, he wanted a kingdom greater than his great-grandfather. Same passion, by somehow, with knowledge, by the mercy of pure devotee, the same passion can be devoted to the Lord only. And with that Tivra Bhakti, passion, if one is for Krishna, after Krishna, he will get Krishna. That laulyam, they develop laulyam. They have that passion, which is contamination. Now it becomes laulyam, which becomes a positive quality. So, just same thing. Isn't it? Some Radheshampru says that those who are lazy fellows get up at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. They may take to devotionalism, may not take. But those who are very passionate about developing their body, get up early in the morning, 3 o'clock, 3:30, and go for running, jogging. They want to develop their muscles, body, have good health, etc. If the fellow is caught and he's told you are not body, you are soul, by great soul, and if he understands that principle, then he will come for morning program. 4 o'clock, 4:30, he will come. Because he anyway was getting up in the morning for developing body. Now he will come for developing soul. So same, any material qualification for that matter, if by the grace of the supreme or pure devotee, can be devoted in the service of the Lord, and he becomes a, Dushan becomes Bhushan in devotional service. Only devotional service has that potency to convert Dushan into Bhushan. Otherwise, all other Vedic rituals and all, Dushan takes long time to get removed, and still it traces remain anyway. But Bhakti is so that everything can be, all the negativity can be eradicated. That potency, our acharyas have told in so many ways, the Bhakti carries that potency. We have to just apply ourselves intensely. The problem lies with the sadhaka. When he is not associating with pure devotees, then it takes long time. But whereas somebody else might have been very fallen, but he can get elevated in no time. It takes, Prabhupada said, it takes 1 minute or 1 moment for the matter. Khatvanga namarushayo, muhurtat sarvam usrujya. It may have some background or it may not have background. If one just accept at that moment very seriously, he will perfect his life. Does that satisfy? No. Okay. Indra is surrounded by so much of opulence and all that. Bhogeshware prasaktanam taya aparuta chetasam vyasayatmika buddhi samadho na vidiyate. So that absorption will not be there, because it's just bahushakhaya anantascha. It's by surrendering to pure devotee. The qualifier is that only. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Dear. श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.